Hi, next in the post fertilization event, we are moving to endosperm, then seed, fruit, what is apomixis, polyembryony, and with that we will finish this chapter. So, as soon after the fertilization, that means the second fertilization, what will happen is that the primary endosperm nucleus will divide in such a way that they divide very freely, and they form very free, give rise to free nuclei, many free nuclei, and these nuclei will be developed into a free nuclear endosperm. Sometimes what will happen, these free nuclear endosperm will get a cell wall formation around them. So those are not become those endosperms, we will call it as cellular endosperm. And one of the best example for this, if you are looking, it will be of the coconut, that the white part of the coconut and the water part of the coconut, these two are formed from this, and this formed by the action of this free nuclear division. So white part is the cellular endosperm, that is why it is known as a kernel, that is not the cellular endosperm. So these endosperm will be a reserved food material for the growing embryo. And the next one, that is coming as a seed. So if you want to after fertilization there form a zygote, and after that the ovule part of that particular female gametophyte will be will form into a seed. That means that outer covering in which the ovum is present, that will be formed into a seed, and this seed will be having growing embryo. That means growing embryo will be there, reserved food material will be there, cotyledons will be there. So when we look into the seed, this seed can be of two types. Sometimes the endosperm will be present. If the endosperm is present, it will be called as the albuminous seed. If the endosperm is absent, it is called as the non-albuminous seed. In some occasion, apart from this endosperm, the nucellus parts may persist for a long time after the growth also. This particular form is known as the perisperm. So perisperm will act as a food material for the growing embryo, and which we can see very clearly in pepper, especially the black pepper. And the seed will be having a seed coat. That means the integuments part will be formed into a seed coat. The outer integument will form into a outer seed coat, which in biologically it is called as the testa, and the inner integument will be formed as an inner seed coat, which will be called as the tegmen, and in tegmen, and inside which we will be having the embryo. And when we look into this embryo, when we look into this from this diagram, we can see that we are having endosperm is there, seed coat is there, seed cotyledons are there, and there are 2-3 terms are written there, that is hypocotyle, epicotyle, like that you are already studied also. Hypo means down. That means the embryonic axis that is growing down of the cotyledon, growing by the down part of the cotyledon, it is known as the hypocotyle. And anything that is grow embryonic axis that grow above the cotyledons, which is called as the epicotyle. And this epicotyle in future, it will form the part of stem, and hypocotyle will form the part of root. Then these seeds, especially in the angiosperms, these seeds will be covered with a fleshy part, which we call it as fruits, and these fruits are called as the ripened ovary. So these fruits are also divided into two types, that is false true fruit and false fruit. True fruit means if there is any fruit that is formed from the ovary, exactly from the ovary, those are called as true fruits. If any fruits are formed outside of the ovary, it is called as the false fruit. The best example is will goes for the strawberry and other things they are. And if any fruits are formed without fertilization, it is called as the parthenocarpic fruits. And the best example, very best example, is bananas, because when we eat bananas, inside that seeds are there, but that seeds are not fertile in nature. So those fruits are called as parthenocarpic fruit. And in some cases these seeds can be inside the soil for a long time, very very long time, until that proper condition comes. So we got some examples for this. That means when the archaeologist goes for these excavations, they have found out that they found some seeds which was from the era of King Herod. It is given his Phoenix dactylifera. So those type of things we will get. Since these seeds are having those covering, these seeds may remain in that dormant condition for a long time, maybe for a long time. So these are used for some of the studies about the old age plants, what are the how these plants are in those times, what is the difference between the plants of those time and the present time. So this will be used by the archaeological peoples to study about them. And the next one that is coming is known as the apomixis. Apomixis means any seed that is formed without fertilization. Those condition is known as apomixis. And another one more condition is known as polyembryony. Poly means many, embryony means many embryos. That means apart from the true area, true zygote, surrounding part of the nucellus may bulge out, surrounding part of the embryo may bulge out like a sac, and they started to divide and protrude out. And these type are not, they protrude out into the embryo sac, and these type of embryos are known as polyembryony. And we can see this type of polyembryonies in like tomatoes, etc. We can see them, and tomatoes, citrus, some type mangoes, we can see these type of polyembryony inside that. And these polyembryonies are also useful in many conditions. If we want to do some hybrid cultures, that means if you want to develop any hybrid plants, if there are many embryos, they can go for many experimental things. That means they can study about this, their growth, how they are growing, what they are growing, what are the conditions they want. They can study in many plants if they are having many embryos. So if they have many embryos, they will get many generations. If many generations are there, they can study in different ways. So these are the advantages of polyembryony. By this we are concluding this chapter. So I have given some questions and answers also along with the notes. Please go through the notes, and if there is any doubt, please contact me back or put a comment wherever I am posting this particular video. So it is very important. And as a 12th standard student, please read the textbook before going to anything, because you will get a maximum questions from the textbook point of view. Anything, if you have problem, please comment under the video in the comment box, not under the video, and in the comment box. Thank you.